Good morning. Happy Christmas Eve. This will be a very quick intro because this video is incredibly long. I was already starting to edit it and it's probably going to be like 45 minutes at least. Didn't want to say cup of the day though because it's Christmas Eve. And I've done my nails, and actually I just remembered I had this color called Favorite Sister. It's a frosted metal in a more bright cherry red color. So I decided to skip this one and go straight to this bright red. So that is going to be the nail polish of the week. And the last time you'll see my nails for a little while, actually you'll probably see them in the giftmas video because I'll be doing the Vanna White type of work there. But it came in its own custom box and everything. So yeah, so today is Christmas Eve. I'm gonna go pick up my rental car here in a few minutes so we can drive up to Vancouver and all the other places that we need to drive up to for Christmas. And, you know, celebrate the holiday. It's gone by so fast. So just want to say again, thank you to everybody who joined us for Vlogmas. We're really happy to have you be part of the time. And I hope you get to spend the holiday however you like to spend it. If that's on vacation, someplace fun, or alone, if that makes you happy, or with family, friends, what have you, whatever makes you happy. I hope you're getting to do that for this occasion, because I think that's ultimately what it should be about, is making sure that you're able to enjoy your time, however that may be, and whatever makes you feel good. So, you know, do what makes you feel the happiest. My happy time will be tomorrow when I'm finally home with the kids, just chilling, having a ham, all the things that we do on the holidays, having the food, having the treats, just being happy. So happy New Year. Thank you for everything, and I will see you next year. Okay, so do you want to start with the welcome to the Q&A night, day, whatever it is right now. Do you want to start with the Instagram questions, or?
Up to you. This is your show.
It's my show. Yeah, there's only a couple on Instagram, and then we'll move back over to the community posts. Should be relatively quick, although we might be repeating ourselves. So the first question is from Daniel, and he asks, do you like cooking? Will you ever create cooking vlogs? And of course that's probably for me.
Well, I'll say that I like to cook. Both my brother and I have a younger brother, we were both taught to cook by our mom and our first stepfather, so both my brother and I are very capable cooks. I certainly won't be starting a cooking vlog though.
Do I like to cook? Yes. I cooked a lot more when we were first married. All the time, actually. And I had a lot more time then. So I've kind of fallen out of my habit of cooking. I used to bake a lot too. I baked a lot of cookies and cakes. I used to make all the nieces and nephews like their birthday cakes and stuff. And I kind of thought of myself as an amateur cake artist. I really enjoyed it. And it's really been the last few years that I've had to work so much that I haven't had the time and just energy to do it. As far as vlogs, I would love to, but I hate my kitchen. Like, I hate with a passion, hate this kitchen. This is the smallest house we've ever had, and probably the worst layout of a kitchen ever. So I don't even know how to feasibly do one in the kitchen that we have. So I'd probably have to have a whole new kitchen to do it. I mean, I could think about it, but I think all of our other houses would have been so much better. And I loved cooking there. And that might be why I don't cook as much, because the kitchen is so horrible and it's just so just not functional. So I would love to, but unfortunately, it's just the layout and the time. So yeah, you might see this bookcase occasionally in backgrounds when I'm in the dining room area. I had an abundant sufficiency of cookbooks. The question was, do I love to cook? I think I answered that, but I have tons of cookbooks. This is a whole like printouts of cookbook items, like, you know, printed recipes. And then I baked a lot for a long time. So I have a lot of baking handbooks and things. And I was really obsessed with this. Nigella was one of my favorite Food Network stars for the longest time. So I collected all of her books. But yeah, Martha Stewart, I used to get like her magazine, and Rachel Ray. Like I said, I had tons more. So yeah, I used to cook all the time. All right. Mary Ann asks, how did you and Steph meet? I'll have him answer.
Oh, yeah. So, we're working at a water heater company up in Kirkland, Washington. I had been working there for a few years, and then she was brought on initially as a receptionist. And well, I was not very nice to her, but then again, it wasn't really anything about her in particular. I wasn't really nice to anybody. I was kind of a jerk. She was warned, oh, that's Steph, stay away from him. But you know, she took offense to that. Like, people aren't allowed to be mean to her for no reason. So she went ahead and was like being nice to me. And then it happened that at one function there was like a company lunch, and I made an offhand reference to the movie Clerks. She came and got the salsa, and I said, watch out for sharks. And she picked up on it, and she said, I love that movie. And that has got my attention and made me start thinking, oh, this could be somebody worth knowing. And we became friends after that. We started like taking lunch together, and then one day I like invited her over to my my apartment for like pizza and movies, and you know, we got to be friends. And then
there's another question that goes into
yeah.
let's stop there.
Okay.
So that's how we became friends, and that was in I think 2000, if I remember correctly. 2000
sounds about right. Yeah.
So Mary Ann's other question was, have you always lived in Oregon? I'm going to say we. If not, where else have you lived? And is there somewhere else you would possibly relocate? So I was born in Seattle, but I lived the majority of my life in Oregon. And then I decided to move back up to Seattle again in 2000 and start up there. I lived briefly in Texas for a little while with my family, but it was a very short amount of time. But Seattle is where my heart is, and if we honestly, I regret moving back down here. We had said that when we were going to move down here that it was going to be temporary. We're just coming down to basically see the kids, the nieces and nephews and everything grow up, and then we're going to go right back up to Seattle, and that never happened. We've kind of been here ever since.
And we keep on moving farther and farther south.
We do, yeah. So we've kept.
We went from Portland down to like Beaverton, down to Carlton, down to Salem now.
Yeah, so we just keep moving farther and farther south, and I want to go farther north. So if money were no object, we'd go back up to Seattle. I go back up to Seattle. And then you?
Yeah, I was born in California and spent like 13 years there until my mom divorced a second time from the first stepdad. Moved up to Kirkland, Washington to be with the guy who actually happens to be the love of her life, and the stars finally aligned. He had just divorced as well, so the stars aligned and they were able to get together, and they'd been together for a very long time until his passing a few years ago. But yeah, so I went middle and high school in Kirkland, Washington, but I wasn't in the right frame of mind to appreciate it. So as soon as I graduated high school, I went right back down to Los Angeles, Went to college there, spent about 12 years there until I was nearly 30, and finally, having come back up to visit my family up here, or up in Washington, finally realized that that was where it felt like home, so I moved up there and lived there for a few years, basically until I met Nancy, married Nancy, and then we moved to Oregon, as she said.
Yeah, and we lived in the Seattle area until 2005, and then that's when we came down here. My dad was terminal, and it was just the timing, because one of the nephew had been born. My niece, who's like my favorite niece, she knows, had just been born, and others were on the way, so it made sense, the family, to get together, and we knew we'd take care of my mom and stuff. So and of course my dad died the year after, so it's just the timing made sense to come down here, and we've been here ever since. And now his mom lives not too far away as well, so this is where we are for now. So I think that segues into Laura's question, Kamuchika.
Hi, Laura.
Have you shared your love story? How did Steph capture my heart? What's the most memorable or favorite Christmas gift you've received from him, or something he did to make that Christmas special? So you started on...
Yeah, let me finish that story.
Yeah.
So we've been friends for several months, and doing a regular thing of like going over to each other's apartments for dinner and a movie night until New Year's Eve. We had some drinks, and midnight came around. We were laying in my my apartment in front of the fireplace, and it was midnight, and I was like, oh, it's New Year's Eve. It's the tradition. You kiss whoever you're with on New Year's Eve. So I kissed her, and we realized that was something that we both liked and we both wanted, and so that's how that got started.
Yep. Pretty simple. Let's see. Most memorable or favorite Christmas gift, and something he did to make Christmas special.
I'm sorry, I have like a really horrible memory for these things.
You don't remember your mom helping you get me a present?
Well, that wasn't a Christmas present. That was a birthday present.
That was my Christmas present.
You're talking about the giant panda?
Yeah.
That was a birthday present.
Oh, I swear it was a Christmas present.
I wanted to get... I thought about getting it for you for Christmas, but I ultimately just ended up not doing it. And then afterward, I regretted that. I wasn't able to actually make it in there, so I told my mom where it was and to pick it up, and I'd reimburse her. And
yeah. See, I swear to God, it was a Christmas present. See, I remember it as a Christmas present. It was so long ago, but this giant panda that I still think it's our Christmas present. I always wanted one growing up. Like, that was like the gift I wanted. I had all the toys in the world, so I never wanted for anything really except for that. I wanted a giant panda growing up. It was like my dream gift, and he knew that story. And the Fred Meyer up in Seattle, Bothell area, had one, and I guess that's why I confused it, because I swear that you said that, I think because you told me it was meant to be a Christmas present, and you didn't buy it, and it was going to be
after Christmas went past, I was like, oh, that was a mistake. I should have got that.
Yeah.
Her birthday's in a few more months, so I'll get that.
So that's funny.
Her birthday is in March, so it's not that long.
They're very close together. So yeah, I mean, if there's anything, it was just remembering that was something very important to me, and I really wanted. So yeah, just something kind of simple. I think. Well, okay. There's one that's all me about fragrance, so I can answer that. But let's talk about history from Michelle Stuffy. History of the dogs, when and how you got them, how you decide on their names, especially Pickles, etc. So let's just tell you a little bit of backstory. He's actually a cat person. He doesn't like dogs.
I've always been cat people. I've never much thought about having... I had dogs as a kid, but I always liked the cats better, and so I never intended to have a dog in my adult life. I was going to be cats all the way. But with the last couple of cats that we had, Nancy was saying after these cats are done with us, we're gonna get a dog. And I was not wild about the idea, but I figured, I've actually been more of a taker than a giver in this relationship for pretty much the entire time. So I figured letting her have a dog could be at least one way to start giving back. So we got the dog. I'll let you take it from here.
So yeah, Hoshi and DeeDee were our last two kitties, and they were actually the very first Vlogmas I ever did in 2020. That was their last year of being alive. The first couple days of Vlogmas that year, you saw them and their last couple days, and it was a really sad time.
They were really old. They were almost 21, right?
No, Frank was 21. We had lost him the year before. Mm-hmm. They were almost 18. Oh, so we'd had them a long time, but they'd unfortunately gotten sick. Yeah. Moving into this house, and but I had known that those were going to be our last two kitties, and moving on from there, I started to research, knowing that he was a cat person, what dog was the most cat-like, and pugs were the most cat-like type of dog out there. You could train them to use like litter boxes and everything, and I went on a local breeder website, and her wait list was like 2.5 years, almost 3 years. I was like, holy crap, that's a long time. And didn't realize how long it would be to get an animal, and the house just seemed so quiet. I mean, Hoshi and DeeDee were very dog-like, the two of them. Like, DeeDee would play fetch.
She used to say they were probably dogs in a past life.
Yeah, they were just very dog-like and just really fun cats. So not having them and their personality was really just heartbreaking. So that I started looking at, so I got on the list for the pug, but knowing it would be some time, I started going to the Humane Society's website and just looking for whatever animals were available. But that was the height of that time where everyone was adopting animals, that you could hardly get even a mixed breed dog. Then one day, Bamboo came up on the screen. His name was Buzz, and I was like, I think this is the dog. And it's just his ears and just everything about his smiley face.
We liked the look of him.
He just looked really cute. So we made an appointment. We got to go meet him. And he didn't really like me. Like, he just took to Stefan right away. Like, when we went to meet him in the little cage area, they take him outside and you like to play with him.
Where they took him off the leash.
Yeah, it's like immediately he liked him and wanted to go for a walk with him, and just was really excited to be with him. So they approved us to adopt him. We brought him home January 2021, and they thought he was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years old, and yes, Mama.
About 3 years old, and a pit bull chow mix.
Yeah, and
Lord love them, they tried.
They tried. They called him Buzz. I was like, that is not his name.
We didn't feel that name.
It was like, we got to find a different name for him. He didn't come to it or anything. He wouldn't come when he was called, and he was just, for a couple days, we're just trying to figure out what to call him.
He came with this collar, this green collar, and it's got a bunch of pandas climbing a stalk of bamboo. I thought that was like a sign, since Nancy loves the pandas so much, and I said, well, let's try calling him Panda. But by the end of the day, we still weren't feeling it. But I noticed her; she was like leaning up in his face and going, "Bamboo, bamboo," and I thought, hey, that could be a good name.
Yep. So. We named him Bamboo.
Yeah, we're talking about you, buddy.
He's like, yes. And he actually took to it really, really quickly. He answered to it. And he knows his name really well. And he goes, we could call him Boo Bear. We call him all sorts of different, nicknames and everything.
Bamboozle.
But he really liked that name. So I can't remember when we finally, I think it was a year later, we found out that the breeder, we were up higher on the list. I think we were like number 12, and she started letting us know that, hey, you're probably going to be up in the next 6 months to a year, which I know seems like a lot, but she's like, you're going to be up soon, and she notified us that I hate saying the word, but the female dog was pregnant.
It is the proper terminology.
It is. The female dog was pregnant, and we would be, if she had enough in the litter, we would get one of the puppies, as long as, you know, we met the criteria of the colors and everything. I'm like, I really want a fawn. I really want a girl. And luck just happened that somebody dropped off the list before us. So she said, okay, we'll move you up. So that was Pickles. So Pickles was born September of 22, and we weren't able to get her until November of 22. But Pickles, my whole thing was I wanted to get pugs and get several of them. So we were trying to think of names, and we were going to have a theme of sushi pugs, and she was going to be Pickled Ginger. And I had other names thought of. It was like, as we get pugs over the years, we'll have the
wasabi, nori.
Exactly. Get the names all together. Well, little did we know, after a few more months, Dolly, which is actually Pickles' aunt, Dolly had to have surgery, and she ended up having to have a hysterectomy and she was being retired. I think she had a uterine a UTI that infected. So they ended up having to have a surgery. So she was no longer able to breed. So they reached out to the whole group that belongs on Facebook and said, is anybody interested in adopting Dolly when she gets out of surgery and recovers after a few months? And I was just like, yeah, me. I would love her. And in a perfect world, I'd love to have Pickles' actual mom, which is Reba. And unfortunately, Reba went to another home, so it didn't work out. But as I circle around, so Dolly's registered name is Jolene Dolly, and Pickles' dad's name is Garth Brooks.
And her mom is Fancy Reba.
It's Fancy Reba.
So yeah, the breeder has a definite theme going with the dog names.
Yeah, so they're all country music singers.
There's an Elvis, there's a Johnny Cash.
So Pickles was always known as Pickles, but we didn't register her right away. We were just trying to figure out like the best way, what name to give her. And Pickled Ginger just didn't seem right with having, you know, Jolene Dolly and knowing her mom was Fancy Reba and such. So we decided to register as Kelly Pickler and still call her Pickles. So her registered legal name is Kelly Pickler, and she's a country music dog, but that is her full name. But she's always going to be known as Pickles.
Yep.
So she's our Pickles. Okay, so the last question is from the other Nancy that always comments. She said she's a fragrance girl too, which I'm very glad to hear. Do I remember my first fragrance? Do you have a favorite fragrance among your wonderful collection? And she says, thank you for Vlogmas and that we've been terrific. Thank you. Thank you for watching. We appreciate that. Do you remember my first fragrance? So yes, but I wanted to ask a clarifying question if it was the first designer fragrance or just first fragrance in general. So the perfumes that I wore when I was really young, you know, was whatever I could afford, which was like Victoria's Secret, Love Spell, just, you know, your cheaper brands that were out there. But my mom used to let us used to let me wear her perfume. So if you're talking about like high-end designer, my very first perfume was actually Dior Poison, and several other Dior ones that she happened to have of my own. She bought me a bottle of Dior Poison, a little tiny one to have, and that was my first like high-end designer fragrance. But I tended to wear a lot of the Victoria's Secret fragrances, the Bath and Body Works body sprays, that kind of stuff when I was really young, because that's what I could afford on my tiny salary working at Sbarro when I was younger. But I've always had kind of a penchant for getting tons of fragrances. As far as now, what my favorite fragrance is now, it's hard to come up with a favorite with all I have right now. There's so many of them, but I tend to, and it's discontinued, unfortunately. I still, Contre Moi from Louis Vuitton is my favorite, all-time favorite fragrance. Hi, babies. So those are all of our questions. The dogs are going crazy, so it's obviously time to go to the advent calendars for them.
I have an answer about the fragrances too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it's nothing fancy, but I've always liked Old Spice, just the regular Old Spice aftershave. I just love the scent of it. But she's gotten me a few other scents too. I've got some nice samples of Atelier and Sillage. I like Sillage. I think it's Sillage number 4 and The Gentleman and Replica by Jazz Club. And but I say probably my favorite is her Louis Vuitton California Dream, which she picked up and she just didn't think it smelled right on her, but it smells great on me.
It does, yeah, for sure. All right, well, thank you for asking these questions, and thank you for being part of our Vlogmas this year. I know it wasn't as eventful as other years have been, but you know, we got a playlist of all the other years, so you can check those out as well. Some years we got drunk with some wine, some years we ate more candy, some years we went places. This year we're kind of just homebodies, so if you want to check this out, have fun. Otherwise, you know, that's okay. Just, we're glad you spent time with us and the children. We will see you next year.
Bye.
do stuff.
Yes, dear.
What time is it?
I believe it is time to close out these advent calendars. Finish them up. Last door on each one.
It is. Can you be any more excited? I don't think she can be any more excited. You're like, hurry up!
All right, we'll start with this one's going to be a toy because the door is big on BarkBox. So door number 24. It looks like a cupcake. Or a muffin.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
It's a Christmas tree muffin.
You got a cake,
And it's got
Mama?
a cute little face. Oh, okay. There you go, sweetie. Go ahead.
I want the cookie.
All right, well, you want the cookie, okay. Okay, so all of these were bone-shaped, all the first 23, but number 24, as you can see here, is round. It looks ornament-shaped, so let's see what's in here. Oh, okay. Will you fall out? I don't want to break you bringing you out. Come on. Okay, here we go. What could that be? Oh, actually, eyes, ears. It's a dog.
It's a doogie.
It's a dog. Oop. This is going to be harder to break into pieces to share with them. Here we go. Almost seems like one of those enrobed JoJo's like we get at Trader Joe's.
It does.
That's what it reminds me of. You know, I'm going to need to cut this with a knife.
Okay.
It's not going to break easy by hand.
We'll go to the kitchen.
Okay. It's not a sandwich cookie like the JoJo's. Whoops. There's for the boo. Go ahead, buddy. And there's a piece for the pickle. And there's a piece for the dolly. All right. Whoop.
You left your crumbs, Mama.
You left some pieces, sweetie. I'll get them to her. Pickles can finish hers there. Here, sweetie. All right, moving on. The last one on the Godiva calendar. It's a double high, so this is going to be bigger probably. Oh, nope, it's a heart again. These hearts are praline, aren't they?
I think so.
Yeah, milk chocolate praline heart.
Wow.
And there's dark chocolate ganache heart, but that's a milk chocolate, so.
That's
Sorry,
kind of a letdown
not
from-
one of your favorites. All
I
right,
was expecting something nice for.
so I'll move on. We'll get.
Let's go to Macy's.
Yeah, let's go to Macy's first. Okay, so number 12 on the Macy's. That is, yeah, 12 on the Macy's. Oh, interesting. Okay. There's a card for $10 off your next $40 purchase.
Oh, nice.
And the thingy is a La Mer Creme de la Mer
Oh,
moisturizing cream.
fabulous.
All right. I'm going to come to the... skip over to the tea. Tea number 24. Okay, after the very disappointing masala chai yesterday, please let me finish on something good. Christmas tea that was with the flavors of spice and citrus. Okay, what? Not the best, but could be worse. I remember they started with this one. I believe this was number 1, and they're finishing it with it too. It wasn't bad, so at least I'm not going to give this one away at work.
That's good.
I'm going to drink this one myself. Okay, that finishes that. And we come to the Saks. Saks actually has a 25 on it.
So we're doing both tonight.
But first, got to find the 24. Oh, there's 24 right there. Not far from it. Okay, so starting with the 24. Here we go. 111 Skin Repair Serum, NAC Y2. Dr. Yanis Alexandrid's Repair Serum. Okay, so that's it, day 24 on the Saks.
Nice.
And let's see what the grand finish is. The big finish, the only one that has a 25. Vintner's Daughter Active Botanical Serum. I don't know what that is. Maybe you do.
I don't. But I feel like I already got something from them.
Oh, well, if so, well, you got a second thing from them now too. Okay.
All right.
And that concludes the Advent calendars for this year.
Well, happy Christmas Eve. We've got to run and go to his mom's, so hopefully there's not a lot of traffic.
Yeah, just Salem to Vancouver.
It should be about an hour, we hope. And the kids will be here garden house. So we will see you next year. You're going to see our pre-recorded fun time for tomorrow, and hopefully you'll like it.
Yeah, our little montage.
Merry Christmas.
Bye. Happy holidays.
Counting down. So in this Christmas time